Too late. Hi everybody, welcome to my Mexican Epic Kitchen today. This is day 2 of our whirlwind tour across the world, obviously whirlwind. And this week we are in Mexico. Today we are going to do enchiladas as well as Ooeey Gooey Queso. And tomorrow night we are going to do pulled chicken tacos. Now earlier today I put a whole chicken in my slow cooker with our pulled chicken seasoning, so that's been simmering, so that's going to be ready for tomorrow. And we're also going to do enchilada fried rice. So the enchilada sauce that we're doing, I'm going to keep some of that out, and then we're going to be putting it in the fried rice tomorrow. I also made rice today to go with supper. And but I'm going to keep some out because, you know, you've heard me say this 1,000 times: cook once, eat twice. And I wanted to comment on something. We did our income tax workshop yesterday, and I just wanted to comment on, you may not realize the tax deductions you get from having a home business in your home. And basically, because I do cooking videos and I do cooking classes, but typically before COVID, I would go into people's homes and I would do the class in their home, and the food would remain there. And the hostess would provide refreshments. Of course, that stayed there. But now, because the videos that I'm doing and the demos I'm doing and the classes I'm doing, the stuff is staying here, we're eating supper, I'm basically being able to deduct our supper with income tax. So that's perfect for me. And so let me know if you're interested in learning more about what you can do to deduct for your income tax for deductions. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to do 2 kinds of enchiladas. I'm going to do black bean, and I'm going to do ground beef. My husband's not a fan of black beans. I think I've mentioned that a few times. And so I'm going to do black beans for myself because I don't eat meat. And then just ground beef for him. So I'm just going to get the ground beef into the pan real quick, and then we'll get started. So also tomorrow, to end, I lost my hand towel. To end our week in Mexico, we are going to have a drink. This is called horchata, and it is really, really good. It's kind of like a really nice tasting liquid rice pudding, if that makes sense at all. And so I'm going to show you how to do that tomorrow. I was going to do it tonight. I didn't realize that it takes the rice, once you've pulverized it, it has to sit in the milk and the water for 6 to 8 hours. I had taken the recipe, I'd done it before, but I had never, timed it, and so I wanted to make sure that the flavors were melded together. And so we're going to have that tomorrow, kind of like cap it off. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get the black beans going. Now, because normally the recipe calls for 2 cans of black beans. I only did 1 because there's only myself that's going to be eating it. So I just rinsed them and then drained them in our strainer. If you haven't seen our strainer before, full size is like this. And then you can just bring it down. So we've all had those metal strainers that take up, I think, an entire half shelf of your cupboard. But it shrinks to like, I don't know, maybe an inch tall or an inch high. And then as you need it, you just keep opening it up. It's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to put, open up my enchiladas. I'm going to put this in first. Now I'm using a round steamer just because I did the rice in the square steamer, so I'm just going to use this. I'm going to just put this in the microwave for 2 minutes just to get the beans cooked, partially cooked. Alright, this is, if you haven't seen me use this, this is our ground meat separator. It has 3 little prongs here, and you know, like most people, you're sitting there, I'm going to move the milk here so you can see. You're taking meat out at the last minute, and you're trying to fry up ground beef, and it's not frying, you're getting this big gulp. This is really amazing, because it just breaks up your hamburger, your ground beef, and so, oh, there you go. So that you're not getting these big clumps. And it's not just for separating ground beef. You can also mash potatoes with this, avocados, egg salad, anything that you would use a masher with, you can use this with. And then it's one less utensil to have. You don't have to have your masher anymore. And because it does, you know how a potato masher has, you know, the half of enchilada sauce, a cup and a half of water, and I'm just going to put the package of enchilada in. And then I'm going to mix it first before I add the tomato sauce. And we talked about this on Monday, that in case you didn't see it, that when you're doing tomato paste and you only need a tablespoon or you know, a little bit of tomato sauce, and what you do with the rest, and you're never going to use it again, you put it in ice cube trays and freeze them, and once they're frozen, all you have to do is pop them out and put them in a resealable container. So that's what I did. This is the last of 6 that I did of tomato paste. And so this is about half a cup, which is about 3 tablespoons. And it's still a little frozen, but it's going to go in the microwave. I'm going to put it on a plate here. And you're going to put this in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to put it on for 2. And I'm going to check the thickness because it'll get nice and thick. I'm just going to do this one more time. And as you can see, is that there's no big clumps of ground beef. Everything's all the same size, all even. I don't know how many times before I got this that I would, you know, you're eating chili or pasta sauce, and all of a sudden you take a spoonful and you have this big piece of ground meat that never got separated. Alright, it's almost done. So I'm just going to mash my black beans here. I don't want to puree it. I'm just going to break it down a little bit so it's not just beans. Now, did you know that Mexico has the oldest printing press in the world? Did you didn't know that? In 1539, it made its first printing press. lot of people think that Mexico City is way behind at times, but really, they did a lot of things that we take for granted. And they just very quietly did their own thing and invented their thing. Alright, so I'm going to heat up my milk. Now using our little mini whisk, just gonna break that tomato paste down. Alright, I'm just gonna put it in for the other minute. So if you have any questions, just ask them as I go along. Alright, so here's our Ooeey Gooey Queso dip. See that? And if you've ever had nachos in restaurants and at movie theaters and you get that yellow, that orangey, smooth thing that you dip your chips in, you're not really sure what that is. It's called a queso cheese sauce. But this is way, way better for you. You at least know what's in here. So this is going into 1.5 cups of milk. Now you can do this in the microwave. I'm just using our 8-cup prep, missed some. One of our pots. And I don't even have to measure because there's markings on the inside. And the nice thing about our lids, I'll show it up here, there's 2 sets of holes. There's a smaller one and there is a larger one. So depending on what you need to strain, is you would just turn the handle, and as well as the handle, well, it's a glass lid, so you can see if it's boiling, but it has tempered rubber on the top and on the side so that you're not going to burn your fingers. Check this. Okay. I'm going to bring the plate up because I don't want to burn my hand. Alright, so as you can see, it's gotten quite, I'm trying to lift it up to the camera, it's gotten quite thick, and that's what you want. Alright, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take, now what I did is I did 1.5 cups of rice and 3 cups of water, and our multi-purpose steamer comes, this big one here, comes with a tray. So I'm just going to take the rice off of here. And the nice thing about this is that you could put it upside down and you could put vegetables on either side on top of meat so that it keeps it separate, or you put it on top like this and you don't need a lid and your rice isn't going to spill all over. Now I'm just going to get another bowl and dump that rice up to come out of the steamer. Now this took about 14 minutes to cook the rice. And this is basmati rice. If you were using minute rice, like instant rice, obviously it's not going to take that long. Alright, so I'm just going to move that over there. Just going to check on my cheese. Now this is going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes, and it's going to get thick as well. And you're going to add cheese to it. Alright, so what you want to do, now I need this part, some of this for the tomorrow's dish, so I need about half a cup. So I'm going to take that out right now so I don't forget. All right, so I want to put another half a cup in here or so. I'm going to put the beans back in, and I'm going to recook the beans. I guess I could have done it in the round one. Now, normally I would not be doing 2 pans. I would have done it all in one. So I'm just going to quickly stir this last little bit of the sauce in there. I'm going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute, just to cook the last little bit of the beans. Okay, and this is done. Now I'm just going to add some cheese. And you want about a cup of cheese. Now I'm using our little prep bowls, or 1 cup prep bowls, and these bowls are really great because, again, like our pots, they have the measurement on the inside. It's ingrained in it. And then you just want to mix it so that it's all stirred together. And then we're just going to let that sit, just so that the cheese gets to melt. All right, now let's get this prepped. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop this out. Honestly, I don't have all these bowls. I just want to be able to, when I'm looking down, I know what I can see, but because you can't see down into what I'm doing, I'm just changing it a little bit. But normally I would not have done all these bowls. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of coconut oil to the enchilada sauce, and it gives it that nice glossy. And then you're going to do half of a lime. And we talked about this a couple days ago, about how wonderful that juicer is, because it literally takes all of the juice out of the lime or the lemon. All right, so I'm just going to put about half a cup or so on the bottom. Kind of like when you're making lasagna, you always put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. All right, then you're going to take your wraps. Now, you don't want the big plate-sized one. Let's get a wrap spoon. Now, you're going to be rolling this up like a tortilla. Now, you could add chopped onions to this if you wanted to. You could put some peppers in there if you wanted to. It's whatever your family likes. And then you're just going to place it right seam side down. I always tell my husband that he has to eat beans because he needs to let our customers know that you're not going to die from eating beans instead of meat. And he always says no, that he's doing it to rebel for all the other people that hate vegetarian dishes that need meat. that he's doing it for them. All right. Now, because this does not have any of the seasoning with it, like I did with the black beans, I'm just going to add a little bit of fajita seasoning just on top of the meat. All right, and then one more. Then we're going to put this, we're going to cover this, and we're going to put it back in the microwave for about 6 to 8 minutes. But I'm going to pour the rest of the sauce on top. So you're layering this pretty much like you do for lasagna. Now I'm using our little 3-in-1 spatula, and this literally, because one side is thinner than the other side, it goes around all the curves of round dishes. So really, you get every single drop out of your dish. So I'm just going to show you this. And then I'm just going to add some cheese on top. And then I'm going to pop it in the oven. Sorry, I have a new mouse and it does not like me. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put it in for the 6 minutes first. Just going to tidy this up for a second. Now I want to let you know that this normally our good food real